The markets are closed, but the business stories are just heating up. Hello, I'm Mai Rodriguez. Catch up with us on Business Brief. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. hails the newly inaugurated housing project in Manila as a model that the national government and other LGUs could replicate. The president says the San Lazaro Residences in Santa Cruz, a 20-story flagship project of the Manila city government, is an example of responsive leadership. It features 382 residential units and 169 parking spaces, all not for sale or rent. 193 of these are reserved for city health workers, while 189 will be raffled off to qualified residents. Beneficiaries will contribute 2,000 to 3,000 pesos per month to a trust fund, which is refundable when they vacate minus repair costs. The president says other LGUs could replicate this to provide affordable and dignified housing in dense urban areas. The Office of the President will grant 15 million pesos to a hospital in the Baseco compound. PBBM announced this as he visited the Corazon C. Aquino General Hospital Thursday morning, praising the facility for serving roughly 7,000 patients since its opening in September. It's Manila's 7th district hospital and serves one of the city's most vulnerable communities. The 3-story building was built for around 80,000 residents.
Parang po, tulungan pa ang inyong ginagawa. Dahil ang katotohanan, na-impress kami masyado. Pero sabi ko, tulungan naman natin. Kaya mula sa tanggapan ng Pangulo, dadagdagan po natin yung suporta ng 15 milyong piso para sa Baseco. Mga kanguling po ito sa mga pangangailangan nyo.
President Marcos has received from the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas coins commemorating next year's ASEAN Summit and the country's renowned festivals. On Wednesday, BSP Governor Eli Remolona Jr. and Deputy Governor Mamerto Tangonan presented Marcos with a 10-peso coin, marking the Philippines' role as chair of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations Summit in 2026. They also gave him a 12-coin series celebrating Philippine festivals set for release next year. An early Christmas greeting to the Senate media from Vice President Sara Duterte after the approval of her office's budget. The Senate on Thursday swiftly approved the OVP's proposed 889 million peso budget for fiscal year 2026. Facing the press, VP Sara, however, declined to comment on ongoing corruption issues hounding the government, keeping the focus on holiday greetings.
We'd like to thank the Senate of the Philippines for approving the OVP year 2026 budget.
Ma'am, what about Zaldico's statements linking the president?
Wala na akong questions.
Ma'am, how
Next year na.
Stabilization daw po yung yung sinabi niyo na you're ready to become the next president?
Next year na.
The country's startup community is welcoming the government's move to suspend the all BIR letters of authority, calling it a breather for businesses struggling with red tape. Our Paulo Barcelon is on the line for the details. Paulo, go ahead.
My gov't Partners Managing Partner Carlo Delantar says the current LOA system often disrupts operations and drains resources, especially for small and medium-sized startups who are still trying to scale in a high-tax environment.
Much needed relief, and we hope that it stays there for good. The reason being is any startups or any business in general has to be law-abiding. We report, we have BIR EFPS, we have quarterly payments and all that. The question now is the system up to date to the modern world, especially when it comes to this?
But Delantar warns that the bigger challenge is political uncertainty. He says investors are closely watching the local situation and compared it to how capital fled Indonesia and Vietnam during past instability. He notes that global funds are available, but they flow toward markets with clear evergreen policies. The report also highlights how artificial intelligence is reshaping business models, with many startups now revising strategies to adapt to cheaper productivity tools and AI-driven operations. Delantar adds that the Philippines remains an attractive market of more than 120 million consumers, but says the country must improve its incentives, digital skills pipeline, and startup-friendly policies to compete for global capital. Mai.
Thank you for that report, Paulo Barcelon. The Bureau of Internal Revenue files tax evasion complaints against the proprietor of Sims Construction Trading and the president of IM Construction Corporation over alleged ghost flood control projects in Bulacan. The BIR says contractor Sally Santos of Sims and IM Construction's Robert Imperio claimed tax deductions for non-existent projects, generating about 14 million pesos in liabilities. IM Construction Treasurer Jane Imperio was also named. The BIR says more cases could follow as it investigates other contractors and possible links to public officials. The BIR will investigate its own personnel over alleged extortion and abuse in the issuance of letters of authority. Commissioner Charlito Mendoza says the President and Finance Secretary have directed the BIR to hold accountable any personnel involved in the scheme. The agency has already suspended field audits and the issuance of LOAs and mission orders. He also urged taxpayers to report any abuse directly to his office, while the Senate prepares its own probe into this extortion scheme. Sources have named 5 government officials involved in the alleged budget insertion scandal in an exclusive report by Bilyonaryo News Channel. These include Education Secretary Sonny Angara, former DepEd Undersecretary Trigib Olayvar, former Budget Secretary Amina Pangandaman, Ako Bicol Representative Ronald Ang, and DICT Undersecretary Faye Condes Sagon. The officials are reportedly connected through alleged coordination on insurgents, links to past controversial projects, and affiliations with influential networks like the Sigma Rho fraternity. BNC attempted to reach out to Angara for comment, but he declined to respond directly and instead posting on social media about demolition jobs without addressing the scandal itself. 2 more Quezon City congressmen appeared before the Independent Commission for Infrastructure over allegations they received kickbacks in flood control projects. Representatives Marivic Pilar and Patrick Michael Vargas testified separately, requesting closed-door sessions. Both denied any involvement with the so-called flood control royalty contractor couple Curly and Sara Discaya. They join other lawmakers who have appeared before the commission over claims linking them to the disputed projects. Batangas 1st District Representative Leandro Leviste claims the DPWH is hiding insertions in the 2025 and 2026 budgets. Leviste posted on Facebook that the agency added 722 billion pesos in 2025 and 497 billion in 2026. He is urging the agency to release the full database of project proponents in the National Expenditure Program. Leviste says the DPWH may be hesitant because the data includes projects proposed by lawmakers and cabinet officials. He has also met with the Independent Commission for Infrastructure and the Ombudsman amid ongoing investigations into this massive kickback scheme. We're taking a short break. More stories are coming up next. You're watching Business Brief. You're back on Business Brief. The Trade Department reports a high compliance of 99.2% with a 60-day price freeze on basic commodities. The freeze followed President Marcos's declaration of a state of national calamity after typhoons Tino and Uwan. Since then, the DTI has conducted over 1,000 inspections of stores nationwide. Officials say supermarkets have returned to normal after a brief surge in demand during the storms. Real estate giant SM Prime Holdings is expanding the SMX Convention Center Seaside, Cebu with a 3.6 billion peso build-out. The C siblings are banking on the Queen City of the South, creating one of the largest venues for meetings, incentives, conventions, and exhibitions in the Visayas. The massive hub is set to open in the fourth quarter of 2026. It will offer over 21,000 square meters of leasable space across 6 levels with seating for more than 18,000 guests. Tensions are rising between the Energy Regulatory Commission and the National Association of Electricity Consumers for Reforms, or NASECOR, after the ERC questioned the group's authority on consumer issues. Speaking on BNC's Business 360, NASECOR President Pete Ilagan called the move concerning, citing the group's 20-year track record. He urged the ERC to maintain continuous oversight, ensuring consumer funds are spent transparently and protect the public from misuse by utilities like Meralco.
Pete, the ERC now kine-question ng standing ng NASECOR in this matter. Now, what is your response to that, and how does it affect your ability to represent consumer interests?
Alam mo, nakaka-alarma at nakakabahala yung question na yan, yung posisyon ng ERC. Sapagkat ang NASECOR ay mahigit ng 20 taon na kinikilala ng Energy Regulatory Commission. Mula sa unang chair na si Fe Green, tapos sumunod si Albano, sumunod si Dupot, sumunod si Salazar, sumunod si Di Banadera, wala pong nag-question ng standing ng NASECOR. Nakakabahala po.
Mega World Hotels and Resorts is partnering with French hospitality giant Accor to rebrand the Grand Westside Hotel. The transformation will create the world's largest Movenpick with 1,530 rooms. The rebrand, including system upgrades and operational refinements, is slated for completion in 2025. The hotel aims to open as Movenpick Manila Bay Westside before the end of 2026. Accor says the project strengthens its footprint in the Philippines and will serve as a flagship for its premium portfolio. Megaworld calls it a milestone in raising the international profile of its hotel portfolio. The 19-story two-tower hotel will link to a casino and entertainment complex and offer a pool deck with sweeping views of Manila Bay. Manny V. Pangilinan says PXP Energy Corporation is expanding exploration in the Sulu Sea and Northwest Palawan with 3 new petroleum service contracts. The company will invest millions in geological surveys, technical assessments, and other exploration preparations. Pangilinan describes the exploration as long, complex, and capital-intensive, urging patience for long-term returns. Despite third quarter net losses of 16.1 million pesos, PXP remains optimistic, pursuing high-risk, high-reward opportunities. A political analyst warns the Philippine economy could remain sluggish without a clear government plan. On BNC's At the Forefront, Professor Malu Tiquia said the fourth quarter outlook mirrors the third, with GDP stuck around 4%. She cited a lack of infrastructure projects and weak capital formation, while investors remain cautious, keeping business confidence low.
GDP, there are no infra projects. There are no BB Build Better More. So yung babangon muli, sa tingin ko, siguro ang default nun, nalugmok ang Pilipinas, kaya babangon muli. Pero ngayon, mas lalo tayo nalugmok after 3 years. Yung ating GDP, we're like 4%, which is like not planned because originally
this was below the projections.
5%, di ba? 5.5. So, paano mo aayusin yan kung ang problema ay business confidence? Yung confidence, nanggagaling yun sa tiwala. Naniniwala ka ba sa leader? At kung naniniwala ka, sige mag-i-invest ako, sige gagastos ako, sige mag-i-expand ako.
Major business and education groups backed the proposed 1.38 trillion peso 2026 education budget in the Philippines. The support came from the Philippine Business for Education, the Makati Business Club, the Management Association of the Philippines, the Coordinating Council of Private Educational Associations of the Philippines, and the Association of Foundations. They say trust in DepEd Secretary Sonny Angara is crucial to turning public funds into real improvements for students and schools. The Senate-approved budget stands at 1 trillion pesos. Senators including Bam Aquino highlight its potential to ease classroom backlogs and boost student nutrition. Angara thanked the groups for their confidence, citing transparency and data-driven policy making. We're taking another breather, a look at how Philippine shares did today. When we return, stay with us. You're watching Business Brief. Philippine shares fall into the 5,900 level once again. The PSEI ended more than 0.5% lower to 59.69. Among the sectoral indices, only holding firms was in the green, with financials falling the most at more than 2%. Decliners outpaced advancers 110 to 80, with value turnover reaching 5.6 billion pesos. Majority of the day's most active stocks were in the red, with Metropolitan Bank falling the most at more than 4%. On currencies, the peso trades at 58.79 against the US dollar, up from the previous close of 58.84. Asian shares rise after Wall Street extends its winning streak to a fourth straight day. All Asian markets trade in the green, with Japan's Nikkei gaining the most at more than 1%. The Australian dollar strengthens against the US dollar. The greenback weakens against Asian currencies. Gold falls 0.3%, while oil prices remain mixed. In crypto, Bitcoin rises nearly 2%, and Ethereum adds 0.3%. The Anti-Money Laundering Council is probing the overseas assets of a current and a former official, both linked to the flood control scandal. AMLAC Executive Director Matthew David said the council can trace assets abroad and can coordinate with foreign authorities to freeze them. The agency recently secured freeze orders for assets worth 3.9 billion pesos, including 2 helicopters and 1 airplane belonging to 2 individuals. The current high-ranking official is reportedly affiliated with an independent constitutional body. That's a wrap for today's Business Brief. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Join us again tomorrow as we bring you the stories that help you plan your next big, bold moves in business, only here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel.